I've been engaged twice, called off 2 weddings. My first engagement, I was the breadwinner. He had bread, but I was the breadwinner. My second engagement, right? I was a breadwinner the first relationship. I was a kept woman the second relationship. So I got to experience both.
And you called off both.
I called off both weddings. The real essence of foreplay, meaning that I feel covered.
Yes.
I feel seen. I feel loved by the God in him, not the man in him. I'm proud that I'm not a divorcee. I'm proud that my decisions have brought me to a place where I'm not a Black woman statistic. I'm actually the anomaly. And I want to be able to lead by example.
Hey, family, this is Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant on the Let's Be Clear podcast. There's one thing in the world that everybody has been hurt by and everybody wants, and that's love. It is the word that the most amount of songs have ever been written and the most amount of focus for every poem. Tina Turner asked a question and nobody 30 years later have been able to answer it. What's love got to do with it? The cousin in my head has flown in from L.A. I absolutely adore her brilliance and her insight. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, welcome.
What's up, Dr. Bryant, right? You got to be Pastor Bryant for tonight.
That's fine.
Okay?
Yes, I'm going to be a registered nurse. You be the doctor.
I'm excited to be here. And I love that you have a platform that allows us to come on here and really give tips and tools and awareness to how do you shift a culture?
Yes.
But then more importantly, how do we shift as individuals so that that individualistic change or shift creates this ripple effect? And I always say, I'm not here to be liked. I don't live in dogma. I can care less. I'm here to interrupt dysfunctional pathologies and intergenerational, street term, we call it curse. Clinical terms, we call it dysfunctions.
Yes.
So that we can shake up our community in a way that pisses them off enough to want to make a huge, like the Bible says, swift change that creates just a paradigm shift in all of us.
Well, I like you. I like the way you think. I like the way you communicate. I like the way that you process. And my grandmother's from South Carolina. Every morning used to give us cod liver oil. Said it don't taste good, but it's healthy for you.
Come on.
John Maxwell said, if you want to be like, sell ice cream.
Hello.
And so thank you for doing the heavy lifting. No kid has ever volunteered for broccoli. Everybody wants ice cream, but thank you for giving us the vitamins that's necessary for the community. Doc, I read something this morning that messed me up. It said 48% of Black women will never be married.
Mm-hmm.
Are we setting people up for failure, primarily in the church, that says if you keep yourself chaste, if you get your degree, get your education, go to the gym, drink 8 bottles of water, stay focused, don't play yourself low, then it's going to happen for you?
No, I think that the recipe to finding love is not looking for love. The Bible says it best that love is not enough to sustain a relationship. It's not. There's so many different moving parts and principles that play a role in it. I think the first principle is sense of self. I think we lack that in our Black community because we're in a household of single parents. And I don't want to just say single mothers because we do got fathers who are single fathers as well. And I want to recognize them. They're just as important. But when you have a duality of a child and a single parent, that child learns one way to be. I had a client in my session yesterday and his wife was saying he puts the kids first. And we've been married, I think it was like on 17 years. I want to pull out. I want a divorce. And I don't like it here. And she said, he's emotionally unavailable. And I asked him, I said, was your father in the home? He said, no. I said, okay. He said, and my mom raised me to be independent. She raised me to have my own. And she raised me to not be weak, right? To be okay with pain and to be able to get through those things. I said, no, your mother raised you to be able to protect yourself the way she had to protect herself for being a single mama.
Wow.
She didn't raise you to be a husband.
Yes.
She raised you so that you would be able to fight the war that she was currently fighting while she was raising you. And so as a man, what you did was you became equally yoked to where she was in that season of raising you. So now that you have a wife, your wife had to be equally yoked to your mama's season. And so in this marriage, your wife is now in mommy's role.
Yes.
Not in mothering you,
Yes.
but in having to be emotionally unfulfilled and emotionally homeless. So y'all have a house that's homeless emotionally.
Yes.
And because you didn't have a father, you're overcompensating with your kids, but you're still in the role of father and the role of son. You've never resumed or presumed the role of husband for 17 years. And he looked at me and he said, yo, Doc, you spitting.
Yeah.
And I love that because he was able to be himself. And I said, okay.
Yes.
And then the wife looked and she just, tears rolled down her eyes. He looked at her and tears rolled down his eyes. And he said, you onto something. You're right.
Yes.
And so why am I saying that? Because we have to be able to identify with what we've learned in the house, which is learned behavior. And we have to identify what part of that in us is showing up in adulthood, because that part is still the little boy, the little girl in you.
Yeah.
And relationships have no place for children who don't have insight. And then we have to start to detach from the bosom. Detach from the bosom. We got folks who are married at 50 years old, even 60, who are still attached to the bosom subconsciously, not because they want to be.
Yes.
Pastor Bryant, not because they're saying, I just want to be a child and I want to be attached. They want different. But we continuously talk about the fantasy, the ideology, the fairy tale of what marriage is.
Yes.
When we go back to the church, why are we not talking about the difficulty of Jesus carrying his cross? Why are we not talking about the difficulties of Sarah not waiting for God to keep his promise, which he did anyways after the maid got pregnant? She let the maid get pregnant with her blessing because she was too impatient to wait. So we're not talking about the real adversities of wise counsel when it comes to marriage. Isn't about telling y'all how to be happy or telling you how to have good sex or how to facilitate the good days. Wise counsel is when it gets swiftly, when it gets funny, when the tides get rough, how do you stick through that?
No, it's good.
What does that look like? And what is commitment?
Yes.
Commitment is doing what I said I was going to do regardless of how I feel. How can I stay in this with you until the love comes back, until the light comes back, until I'm turned back on by you?
Yeah. 100 Black Men uses as his motto, you can't be it until you see it. How do you coach a couple who neither the husband or the wife had an example of marriage?
Love that. I always say I don't coach or teach people how to be married. That's God's job because he's the covering. He's the covenant.
Yes.
He'll teach that. I teach people how to get a sense of self, how to learn how to be out of their trauma within themselves, how to identify what healthy parts or trauma parts are present in that relationship. How do they rectify, resolve, and heal those things? Because as they become better, the marriage becomes better collectively.
Yes.
We can't tell two people how to matrimony. We can't tell two people how to relationship, how to commune. We can help them individually how to get out of their own way, bring resolve, gain emotional intelligence, gain compassion, right? And how to process those tools and apply them in this marriage.
No, that's powerful. There's something that's trending, Dr. Bryant, that I wanted you to speak to all over Instagram, all over TikTok, is this vignette that people are doing on the wife saying to the husband, I can't help with the rent this month. And the husband invariably saying, oh, you won't ever pay it. I want to know, especially in this souring economy, what does that do for a team who come to agreement, hey, we want to get this house, but it's going to take both of us to get it done. It is almost doing a 1950s portfolio. There's only the man that's doing it. Does it cheapen the value of that team or that husband if they're both putting into the mortgage? Or are you of the mind that just the husband should do it?
Women can say what they want to say, but the truth of the matter is, Pastor Bryant, that when a man doesn't do the nucleus of what he's built to do, which is provide, provision, protect, yes, a woman naturally, organically loses some type of respect in the form of value for that man. I've been in my field for 17 years. And I've also been I've been engaged twice, called off 2 weddings. My first engagement, I was a breadwinner. He had bread, but I was the breadwinner. My second engagement, right? I was a breadwinner the first relationship. I was a kept woman the second relationship. So I got to experience both.
And you called off both.
I called off both weddings.
You a
Yes.
runner, you a track star.
I'm a runner, I'm a track star.
So,
And
tell
that
me,
has been
tell
my
me why
work.
you keep cutting them off.
The first one I cut off because although my father was a street dude who made a lot of money in the streets, and so I was always well spoiled financially,
Yeah.
he didn't raise me to look for a man for money.
Yes.
Right? Street term. He didn't raise me to be a gold digger.
Yeah.
He raised me to find a man of good character, to find a man who looked, smelled nothing like him. Right? And so I found a man of good character who was faithful, who was loving the boy next door. He was an athlete. He just was a good man.
Yes.
But he had no work ethic. And so as I'm in this relationship trying to navigate, I would call my father constantly and say, although I'm not denying him of my body, right? Although I'm trying my best to still show up in my best form, it's causing an internal struggle because I'm winning the bread and yeah, he's domesticated, but this is not the role that feels natural for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And my father kept saying, but he's a good man, baby. He's a good man. This man is faithful. This man is loving. But this is coming from a father who was a great father, Pastor Bryant, but a womanizer. So he's looking at it from a protective space of, my daughter's not with a me. She's not with a womanizer.
You're right.
But I'm also
that
not
dimension of him.
That dimension.
Yes.
But I'm also not with the other part of you, Daddy, who's a provider. So for me, it didn't work. So I left that relationship because I had stayed 6+ years. And while I was there, I got 4 degrees. He didn't even transition into work or a career.
Yeah.
And I stayed, listening to my father. He's a good man. Savannah, he's a good man. And then Savannah grew up and said, Daddy, but he a lazy man.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm not wanting to be the breadwinner. I'm leaving.
Let's put the hazards on before you get to that second one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people choose.
Come on.
And say, okay, I know they're not making the money, but they're faithful. Or, hey, I'm going to turn a blind eye because he's making this money.
And he paying the bills.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't lower the standard. You didn't sit at the bar. You raised it.
Period.
Yeah.
Because when I left, I gaslit God so bad.
Ooh.
I gaslit God so bad. I said,
wow.
How could you let me stay in a relationship that long, knowing the kind of man that I want and the kind of man that I deserve? I told God I'm faithful. I'm faithful to the man. I'm faithful to you. I'm a praying woman. I come from a good family. I've saved myself in so many ways. I'm not promiscuous. I don't believe in casual sex.
Yes.
I don't even date casually. And then you send me this joker. Not saying he's a joker because you were a good man, but I'm saying you send me this joker who just won't even provide. I come from a daddy that provides.
Yes.
I come from a grandfather who paid all the bills. The men in our family were providers. And you send me this. So when I gaslit God, he spoke to me and said, it felt like he was looking at me because he spoke to me and he said, there's qualities in you that won't allow you to have the man that you're praying for. You're too insecure for the man that you want. You want a man to pay the bills, but that man can't always be present. You want a man who moves in a certain way, but you hold a tight grip on him.
Yeah.
Because of your abandonment issues.
Yeah.
You want a man who's alpha, but you the alpha. You want a man who wear the pants, right? But you wearing a man taking them off.
Yes.
And I said, well, what does that look like? The women in my family are very domineering and they're very dogmatic and I don't know what that looks like. And I promise you, when I said, what does that look like? God started to line up women who became optics for me, who were in relationships with men who were taking care of them, financially providing for them, right? And good men. And I started to really observe them and learn, okay, wait a minute. What does submissive look like? What do these men really need in these women that I am not obviously carrying? Because I don't understand. To your point, if I don't see it, I couldn't be it.
Yes.
And I didn't see it. So I started to study these women. I started to pray and I said, God, okay, you send me good men. Let me just pray to be a good woman. Y'all watch out for that prayer. Because when I started to pray to be a good woman, boy, God said, all right, you ready? Buckle up. And I even got more mad at God because of the Moses journey he put me on to become this good woman. It stripped so much of me that I started to grieve the parts of me that were being pruned. And I had to become fearless to the parts of me that were starting to evolve and mature in me. So then I met my second fiance.
Wait, before you go to that one. So the first one you was with for 6 years.
About more like 8 years. Yeah.
8 years,
Yeah,
okay.
all of my 20s until I was 30. I didn't leave until I was 30.
So therapists suggest it takes a man 175 days to figure out if a woman is married material.
He figured that thing out in about 2 weeks because he was
Yes.
ready.
Okay. So why did it take you so long?
Yeah. Because of what I now teach against, I seen potential. And although my father is extremely wise counsel in a lot of areas,
Yeah.
that wasn't wise counsel for me in the relationship department to stay because my father seen safety. And I'm not a safe woman, meaning I'm fearless. I don't need safety.
Yeah.
I want what I want.
You accelerating through the yellow light.
Hello. And if whatever I want comes with a price, I'm a big dog. I could pay it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. And I'm not afraid of debt. So whatever I got to do, run the play.
Yeah.
But I want what I want. And so the counsel that I thought was wise to me wasn't, but also that first relationship, my fiance at that time said, I'm a buffer for you. He said that to me. He said, I'm a buffer for you. And he mimicked what God said after he had already said it. You're too insecure for the man you want. So you got me. And I thought, how as a man can you say that, still want to marry me, and you feel like you're my buffer? I mean, how, two flip sides, right? How in love or loving of me do you have to be to say, I will facilitate you while I let you buff on me to become equipped for what you really want? I'm not built like that.
No, me neither.
You let me know I'm a buffer. I'm a buff on up out of here.
Oh yeah, no,
real quick.
I'm Dodge tough.
Right?
I'm
So
a Ram truck.
Hello, I stayed because there was potential in this young man that he never reached. And I tell women this all the time: potential will leave you with potential. Period. People are who they are. And there's a big chance that whoever they are will be who you're with 5, 10, 15 years from then. So if you don't like who they are, don't stick with the potential.
Okay, hold on now. Hold on. That's fine in your 20s. But we got to go back there, because what social media is doing is people want 8 years is too long. 6 years is too long. But sometimes you got to meet people at potential and grow with them.
So let me challenge that, because God says my thoughts are not your thoughts and my ways are not your ways, and I'll meet you where you at.
Yes.
God meets people where they're at.
Yes.
Because his thoughts are not your thoughts. His ways are not your ways. I'm not God. I'm made in his image. So I don't have to meet you where you're at. All I have to do is be where I'm at and make the best decision for where I'm at and where we can build together. That
Okay,
means
I'm
that
with
I
you.
don't have to be in your potential.
Yeah, how are we growing together? How are we growing together? Let's say we going in the Michael J. Fox time machine.
Okay, let's do it.
We in the DeLorean right now. So we going back to 22.
Yes.
We both 22. We just coming out of college. We both got student loan debts. My potential says that I'm going to be an emerging entrepreneur. I'm going to move. But everybody wants the finished product. Nobody wants the crock pot.
At 42.
Yeah, I'm dealing with your 20s.
22.
Yes.
So at 22, it's age appropriate.
Yes.
If you're 22, if you're 25, I think even if you right at
28.
Right, if you're below 30, if you're below 30
yes.
and you see potential in somebody, then yes, you can bank on that.
Yes.
Or you can pray on that. But potential isn't somebody who you are clothing with the idea of what you want them to be, but you see them making no type of actions or moves in that direction. My guy, with all due respect, he was very lazy, meaning when I left at 8 a.m. to go to school and I had 26 units per semester, he was sitting on the couch.
26 a semester.
26 units a semester. When I got back, Pastor Bryant, he was sitting on the couch in the same spot. He may have cleaned up a little bit and made sure we had a meal. But at 22, I didn't know what I know now, that it wasn't his potential I was banking on. It was my ideology that I clothed him with that I was banking on him becoming. And I thought because I was so ambitious and I was moving and grooving, 26 units, I'm running a mobile legal company, I'm making $300,000 plus some years. At 21, 22, I'm owning, I have a whole real estate portfolio. I'm driving luxury cars. You know, I'm doing these things that I felt like, how can he not be an observation of me and not Annie up? That is not how it works.
No.
What's in you is in you. And I activate and water what's already in you. I don't give you nothing.
On one side, two things. One, I tell my staff, you can't teach initiative. You can't. You're going to have it on your own. The reverse of that is if the man has that drive, a woman who is his partner will gravitate to it. But if it's the other way around,
Talk to him.
yeah, the positive only works with a negative with a car battery. It does not happen with relationships.
Come on.
You got to bring that positive, two positives together to pull it all the way up to get to the next level. CEOs who go to different corporations, move around, they're going to take their secretary. The secretary ain't got 6 degrees.
Come on.
But she got the initiative to do forward thinking. Hey, Dr. Bryant, I know you got a flight today, so I done sent your driver to go pick you up lunch. It's forward thinking.
Yes.
So being equally yoked doesn't mean you making 300 and I'm making 300. Equally yoked is both of us got to drive to get to the top of our field, the top of our area, and we're lifting as we climb.
And that benefits us
Yes,
collectively.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Because
So
with the whole notion of what do you bring to the table is just make sure it ain't just a fork.
And I love that.
Because I don't want you eating on my plate.
And I love that because I also believe I can't tell you what I'm bringing to the table until I take an inventory of what you need at the table.
Listen.
I think it's not about me bringing what I'm going to give you.
Yes.
It's about, in a relationship setting, baby, what's missing from this table? Let me see if I have it. Because if I do, it's yours.
Yes.
Because what if I bring and double down on what you already have there? We don't need 2 mashed potatoes. We don't need 2 king chairs.
No.
We don't need two. We may need 2 bottles of wine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But we don't need 2 of some things.
Yes.
So I always try to teach the tool to my men and women when I'm in session or speaking. Let's not try to come in with these preconceived, this is what I got. This is who I am.
Yes.
How about, baby, what's missing that I can add to it?
Yes.
What has always been missing from your table? Because if I got it, I want to bring it. And you may need to bring less than you even think you do or more.
Or
but
different.
Take inventory or different.
Yes.
But take inventory because at the end of the day, if this table is ours and we commune here, then our job collectively is to make sure that this table goes without deficit. And at that point, after I choose you, I trust you, I shouldn't be taking score of, did he bring the potatoes? Did I bring this? Was it $5 or $10? It's baby, I'm in this. What's up? What we bringing?
And do not bring to the table flatware to Negroes who are used to plastic utensils. Because they won't even know how to appreciate. My late grandmother on Saturdays used to polish her silverware because she was just so proud of. They don't even make china closets no more. So it's the mind frame of, is this table collapsible?
Right.
Does this table have an extension? And the difficult question nobody's asking, how many other people you got at this table?
Stop playing with me. Stop playing. Look, you talking.
Is this a table for 2?
You speaking to a territorial woman now. Y'all, he about to get me fired up. I'm territorial.
Yes.
So not only is the table at home for 2, the reservations better be for 2, the flight better be for 2, everything we do better be for 2 until I create a 3. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
And that question should be asked on number 1. I was talking to a guy for 1 week.
Yes.
7 days. I said, let me ask you something. How many other women are you talking to? How many other?
This is date 1.
This is day
week
7.
1. Week 1. Yes.
Okay. Day 7.
Yes.
Because we're long distance.
Yes.
So it was a lot of conversation. On day 7, I said, you're creating a space for me that is making me feel like I want to give more of myself. But before I do that, I have a question. How many other women are you talking to? And he said, none. I said, okay. I said, and before we move forward with me giving more of myself, and when I say more of myself, I'm speaking of my emotions and my time, not my body, at least not at that space. I said, I'm an access woman. So before you can access anything of me, my heart, my body, my mind, I'm going to need access to what I believe creates a safe space for me. And that is passwords to your phone. I don't need keys to your house. I'm not saying I need the password on week 1. What I'm saying is, are you comfortable with doing that when we get to that space?
When we get to,
when
but
we get
you're
to
not
that
asking
space.
that for week 1
No.
long
I'm not
distance.
saying week 1, give me your password.
Okay.
I'm saying that when
Okay.
we move into that space,
Yes.
because now I'm feeling like I want to spend more time with you, I want to invest equity into this relationship.
Yes.
Equity for me in week 1 is time, conversation on the phone, and yes, you can fly me to come see you.
Yes.
That's equity for me.
That's fine.
Okay. But when we get to the space of now, this environment has become safe and my body is now feeling moved to want to be intimate with you.
Yes.
Or my heart is feeling moved to want to be committed to you. When we get there, I know that I'm going to ask for access. So I'm not going to set myself up to get there, ask for it, and then this is not what you're in alignment with, because the longer I stay, the more expensive it is for me to pull out. So,
yes, but does that not bring to bear a presumption of guilt or absence of trust that at the door, I need a passcode?
With that,
but if I am giving you no red flags, no flashing lights, the phone ain't vibrating.
Yeah. I love this. No, I love
so
this
why
question.
do you come straight into the door like, hey, I got to trust, come behind you? Am I carrying what happened with the last
I love this
situation?
No, because both of my fiancés, knock on wood,
yes,
was no infidelity that I know of.
Okay.
And I had access to phone, computer, Instagram, Facebook, bank account, and we lived together. So I obviously had access to our home. And I would navigate the phone. They would navigate mine. And we never, ever had a conversation about another woman or a man that had to create division between our relationship. I never left for that. So I'm not bringing in a, per se, redo to this new dating space. What I'm doing is saying, I'm not wanting your passcode so I can access your phone so I can see that you're cheating. I don't want to be broken, Pastor Bryant. I don't want to be dismantled. I don't want to be hurt. For me, that's a reassurance. And as the Bible says, love your partner by knowledge of them, well, I'm giving you knowledge of me. So if that works for you, then align with me. If it doesn't, let's pivot now. And there's no hard feelings.
So but the phone code is a breaker.
Oh, is it a non-negotiable?
Yes.
It is. The passcode, access. Let me say it because I'm single and I'm in my choosing phase.
Yes.
And I'm choosing
and I've
my
given
husband.
you no reason.
There's not a reason. It's called transparency. I operate from a place of transparency, not honesty. Honesty means I have to ask you questions. I don't want a relationship with you when I have to drill you like an investigator. When you're talking about trust, an investigator has to ask you 500 questions to figure out what their clarity is that they're seeking. That's not the relationship I seek. I seek transparency. Transparency is, baby, I have a flight at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
When I land, I have a meeting. And X, Y, and Z will be there. And I happen to still do business with the guy I used to date before you because he's in on this deal. He'll be there too. That's transparency. So you wouldn't have to ask me anything.
Yes.
For me, transparency is also, we are transparencing together. You have access to my body, don't you? If we get to that space, you have access to my heart, to my mind, right? To me, my heart, my mind, my body is more valuable than that punk ass phone. So for me, if all I'm asking for is access to something that you have nothing to hide, that I'm not saying I want it to pick up and go through. Because if I want to pick it up and go through it, Pastor Brian, guess what? I ain't got to ask for the password. Because everybody could find that out. That's easy work. To find out women find out passwords all day long. Let's keep it real.
Listen.
Do they not? Do they not? Do they not?
Yes.
Okay, so wait a minute. So is it not better to have a woman that says to you, baby, I'm asking for access because I never want to I'm not trying to pry into your privacy and sneak into your phone. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. Let me disclaimer. I'm not going to do that. So all I'm saying is I want access to it because being that I have access to it means that you've given me permission and authority.
Right, but if
hold on.
Yes.
And giving me permission and authority is the love language. Stick with me. It's the principle. It's not the password. It's the fact that you said, baby, here goes a key to my house. So when I'm out of town, you can leave when you want to. That doesn't mean I want to go run through your drawers and see what's in there. That means you're giving me access and authority to your home. That's a principle that opens up a space for me that's called a love language. I am not going to be in a bed with a man who can access my body, that is priceless, and I can't access a $89.99 or a $499.99 Samsung or iPhone because you think that's a breach of your privacy. You keep your $500 phone over there, and I'll keep my priceless mind, body, and soul over here. I have yet to have an issue with being in a relationship with a man, and I have been engaged multiple times.
Yes.
And I have in these 6 years said no to multiple rings because I refuse to get engaged again without going through with it.
Yes.
I have yet to have an issue with the man who's not a womanizer, who wouldn't say password. I don't care about that. Okay, so what? And this is the thing. If you need to do what you do, womanizer, and you want to keep a woman of my caliber and you think you just that smart to do it, run the password, get another phone, and do it your way. But I'm not going to make it easy for you.
Yes.
If you want her that bad, get a phone for her and keep that shit over there.
I'm with you on the 50-yard line. But you're going to respect
this space.
I'm with you on the 50-yard line.
I'm listening.
Where I'm throwing a flag on the field.
I'm listening.
Is that nobody would be giving you a key to the house the first week. And you asked this in the first 7 days. Yeah. So in the first 7 days.
Clear it up, Pastor Bryant, clear it up. I didn't ask for the password in 7 days. Yes. I asked that when we get to this road of commitment. And
I understood.
Yes, of commitment.
Yes.
Part of committing to me, just like there's commitment standards for you and other men, is access. Because when you commit to me, I'm giving you access to me. And if you can't honor and respect access to me, being a part of me, accessing everything that comes with you, then we don't have a commitment. And we are not operating from a space of what works for us collectively. Now we're operating from a space of what works for you. And there's a two-party relationship here.
I'm almost there. I want to be there.
Are you at 70 yet?
I want to be there.
The 70-yard line
yet? No, we're at 55. we at the speed limit. It's a bump in the road. My question is...
Let me ask you this. Does your wife have your password?
Yes.
So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, my wife.
So what are we talking about here?
She didn't have it that first week now.
But did she have it? Did she have it before she was your password? Before she was your wife?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're in the end zone.
Yes.
Now we're in the end zone.
Yes, for a wife,
drove it there.
sure, have it.
So he caught the
Have the key. So have the alarm code.
Brady threw it.
Yes.
Moss caught it.
Yes.
We good.
Yeah.
We good.
Okay.
You proving my point. Why did you give this woman your password?
Yes.
Why?
Again, the password is not my issue.
But
Doc.
Is it because you have nothing to trust, or was it to reassure her?
I'm dealing with the timing. I'm dealing with the timing of those 7 days. So let's flip it on the man side.
Okay.
So if I said to you in the first 7 days, hey.
Hell no. I'm just playing.
No. Yeah, when I said, that you're going to give me your body, I say this to you on the 7th day.
Yes.
You calling the girls like, do you know what this Negro said to me on day 7? Like, he know he going to get it. Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with the time, not your principle.
Got you.
I'm with you on the principle.
So let me comment on that.
Yes.
Again, I'm not asking for the password on the 7th day.
Yes.
Just like if a man asks for my body on the 1st or 7th day, it would be red flag. This is bananas.
Yes.
Absolutely not. But if that man said to me on day 7, I don't care if it was day 3, listen, I'm not trying to access your body now.
Yes.
But there's certain things that I do like when that does take place.
Yes.
And I'm just curious if these are things that you would be open to if we were to even cross that road. Would I be offended by this man being in a place of maturity and transparency?
Yes.
I would be turned on that I have a man that can communicate,
yes,
that I know would be vulnerable enough to come to me about his needs in the bed,
yes,
and not outside of our house. And I would say, baby, you know what? When we get there, green light. We could run every play you want to. Or I would say, that's not my thing.
Okay.
He would be saving him and I a disservice of a distraught, unsatisfied marriage. We should be communicating more about who we are instead of trying to hide those things and looking at those things as a deficit. Whoever you are is exactly who you need to be for the right man or woman to align with that. Otherwise, you are in a relationship with some of the parts of you, and the parts over here, they're being hidden. When relationships and love is all about freedom, I'm here to be free. I'm even in this space on this podcast to be free with you.
And I'm grateful.
Right? And so if I'm in matrimony with the man, I want to be free in my full capacity.
Be free. Be free.
I'm taking it all off, baby.
Be free. As a spiritual woman, you have a great knowledge of Scripture. strong relationship with God, incredible insight on the human mind, on relationships, all of that. We get to the seventh day, y'all talking about keys and bed and turn on. At what point, I'm asking you, at what point do you ask that man to pray for you?
Oh, I love this. Get out of my business,
Oh,
Pastor
listen,
Bryant.
you my cousin in my head.
Let me tell you okay, so y'all heard, Doc say I'm dating, which means I'm still single, but I am dating, and I'm talking to a particular guy who he's been praying for us and over us since day one.
Nice.
And I've been with praying men, but not to this extent. And it is the biggest turn on. It is the epitome of foreplay. And when I say foreplay, I'm not saying it makes me tingle down here and I want to jump in the bed with him. I'm talking about the real essence of foreplay, meaning that I feel covered.
Yes.
I feel seen. I feel loved by the God in him, not the man in him. And so he doesn't allow us to go to sleep at night without him praying over me or us saying the Lord's Prayer together. And I find that leadership. I find that to be the head of us.
Yeah.
And what it does is it inflames my submissiveness and my softness more than if he didn't do it. Something he did really unique. He was traveling out of town and he's at, a business meeting, he's closing deals, he's doing his thing. And they were having a post celebratory event at some like dinner restaurant lounge. And I was going to bed. It was already 11:30 at night. And he said, "Hey, baby, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting ready to go to bed." He said, "Well, let me know when you get in bed so I can walk out of this party that we're having to pray over us." I didn't have to ask. I was going to bed,
Right.
Pastor Bryant. This man said, "I'll walk out." And I said, "Baby, I'm ready." He walked out of that event, prayed over us.
Awesome.
Said goodnight.
I like him
and
already.
then texted me and said, "Baby, I made it back to the room." So when you're talking about asking a man to pray for you, ladies, that ain't something you ask. That's something that man comes with or he does not. Leadership isn't you asking him to presume leadership. Leadership is already in that man, and you know through the actions he takes with you. And you know when a man's covering you, because when a man's covering you, when he's not in your presence, your nervous system is calm. When a man's covering you, he's not in your presence, your spirit isn't inflamed. If this man happens to go a little further than the time frame of the meeting, your spirit is still at ease. Because when this man covers you, it's not him covering you. You are covered by the God that he's serving, by the principles that he is praying on, leaning on, living in. And faith, God, and principles are action words. So a man can't be in God and not be actively covering you. It doesn't work like that.
That's heavy. My spiritual formation director said something that radically changed my mind in dating, is that prayer is more intimate than sex.
Did you not hear me say that was my foreplay?
Listen.
And let me be, can I be really transparent?
Yes.
This man been praying and praying and praying over me. Listen, this is just, y'all know Doc be cutting up, so I'm gonna cut up right now. Disclaimer. I literally had to call one of my prayer warriors, and Willie Moe Jr. You seen him on my show. I said, "Willie," and I called my bishop, Michael Berry. I said, "I need y'all to pray my pheromones off. Pray them down, pray them off." And they said, "Doc, that's unlike you," because they know I'm not into casual sex.
Right.
Like, that's not like you. I said, it's been a year since I've done anything. I said, but boy, this man just been, I'm afraid he's going to pray my panties off. And I don't want that. But why? Because he's activating and awakening things in me that are connected to the intimate part of me as a woman. I'm not into casual sex. So dinner and trips, although I love those things, they don't activate me to want to be in bed with you.
Yes.
They may activate me to want to have a good time with you, but praying over me. And another thing is when I do visit him and, we are in bed sleep and are cuddled up, this, not just his actions, but his energy is not that of, I want to be inside you. I don't feel that. When I get up to take a shower or I'm changing, he leaves the room to give me my privacy and space. I don't have to ask those things. That's a man who honors me, who's respecting my space. And so I say that to say a man's leadership is what he shows you. It's not what you ask him to do. And there's a natural way that women, no matter how alpha she may think she is, or how unsubmissive she has never been, that a praying man or a man of God, a real man of leadership, will activate things in you that have you falling more in love with yourself than he will when you come into your softness of being a woman. And for the brothers out there, if y'all want real intimate, I'm going to go there, freaky, nasty, off the wall, very satisfying sex.
Yes.
Bring God in that thing first. No, I'm serious. Bring God, bring that woman closer to God. Bring that woman and implement his principles in her. And baby, you won't get her in the bedroom. You'll get God. And you know what God said? He said he could do exceedingly, abundantly.
The views
Above
expressed
all
on this show
things,
today
then you can imagine.
reflect that of our guests.
He would do exceedingly abundantly above all you can think or imagine. And so when you bring God into that woman's spirit, and y'all finally, I'm going to go biblically correct, after marriage.
Yes.
After marriage,
Saved
y'all
by the
finally
bell.
do your thing.
Yes.
She will be exceedingly abundantly all you could think of or ask for. And then it will be in a place of alignment and peace.
Yes.
And that's why I wait and I save my body, because I know that I don't want just a physical orgasm. There's other layers to that are way more satisfying than just an orgasmic physical experience.
A lot in this generation, Doc, don't know the difference between intimacy and sexuality.
Come on.
Can you unpack that? Because a lot of people really use Netflix and chill as a code word.
And
but
Pornhub, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And we just going to keep it real.
Yeah, well, you have done it. You have done it today. You have done it today. I have had 2 asthma attacks with no pump, but help us.
We're going to pray over them, Lord. We're going to pray
What is the difference between those two?
Intimacy and sex?
Yes.
Sex is an act. It's an oral act, a penetration act, it's a fondling act, and it brings your body to an orgasmic, finishing or completion. Intimacy has nothing to do with the orgasm. Will orgasm come emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically through intense intimacy? Absolutely. But intimacy looks like a 4-hour conversation about knowledge of each other. Intimacy looks like a disagreement of 2 people submitting, so it never turned into discord. Intimacy looks like, I talked about the gentleman that I'm talking to praying over me when he's at an event with a group of people he could just stay, entertained with. Intimacy looks like, baby, did you make it home? Did you eat? Are you okay? Do you need anything? Intimacy looks like, I'm going to put my needs aside because I see you're in a space where you need all of me. And so I'll choose to discuss this issue I may have with you another time. I check in. Intimacy also looks like when I'm not with you because I am truly faithful, truly focused, and truly aligned with you, that you have a calmness and a peace. And intimacy looks like what I just talked about, the epitome of transparency. For me, transparency is intimacy because you're giving me a piece of you that I don't have to try to navigate. You're allowing me to see it. And this is one that a lot of people are very confused on. True intimacy is, no, I'm not responsible for carrying your hardships, your traumas, your deficits. But if I chose you, damn it, I'm responsible for facilitating you through it. And there's too many people that are saying heal and get over it and then come talk to me. Well, how about I don't want to talk to you at all? Because if you can't at least facilitate doesn't look like you got your toolbox out and you're trying to fix, because like Jesus and the disciples, we all got to carry our own cross. And even when Jesus went to the cross and got crucified, there was a whole audience, but they nailed him by himself. Okay. And he also was resurrected by himself.
Yes.
By God. Nobody was there to carry, resurrect, or do any of those savior things. However, facilitation, support is something that is very intimacy, the what do you need? And then showing up in that. I want to go further because people are going to be like, okay, Doc, that's cool. That's all the surface stuff. Taking a bath together. No sex. Because you both have what the Bible says marriage requires, discipline. To take a bath together.
Hey.
And have a conversation. A little triggered over there? A little
No,
triggered?
I just got to couch this. I got to couch this. Don't take that bath until y'all get that ring
Till
on
you
there.
get that discipline, too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Discipline.
You're going to make me lose my license. Listen, she's talking to married people. A different, a heightened level. Thank you.
And let me say this.
Yes.
I'm also talking to unmarried people because
Don't get in that bathtub. Don't y'all get in that bathtub.
Listen, if you have the true essence of discipline.
Yeah, no, they ain't got it.
But there are some men that do.
Yeah.
And let me go further. Because
they must teach Tai Chi.
Because you're supposed to save your chai tea,
yes,
which is really your sperm.
Yes.
Until you're doing something that's productive, fruitful, and
will
multiply.
Get in the tub with a bathing suit on. Don't just get in there.
Let me say this, ladies and fellas. Let me say these, ladies and fellas. A man who could bathe with you and be disciplined enough to not touch you is a reassurance for you. I did that with a man. I did that with a man. Listen, I don't listen to Pastor Bryant. Okay?
Gentlemen, don't play with it.
Pastor Bryant is
you're going to mess up.
Listen, he's talking to the low functioning men.
Hey, listen.
But the high functioning men who want something bigger than the flesh, because you know that the flesh. He's talking into the low functioning men, but the high functioning men who want something more than just the flesh because they know that's the cheapest part of a woman, but it'll cause you to pay the biggest price when it goes wrong.
Yeah, but don't go in there cold turkey.
Hold on.
Start meditation first.
Prayer, meditation, and
focus.
Yes, and then definitely get your discipline muscle up. But I did that for 1 year because I was celibate for 2 years. I was dating a guy, and almost for about a whole year, we were bathing together, doing all the intimate stuff, nude together, sleeping together with no sex, no touching, none of that. When I say no foreplay of anything, and our intimacy was crazy. We never got to the place of intercourse, of sex. But it heightened our relationship to where sex became so overrated and so secondary for both of us that when we left our dating relationship, it actually enhanced and elevated both of us to a different place. When we spoke on the phone about a year ago, he said, the relationship with you, where I had to have discipline enough to be able to be intimate, but not sexually engaging, has helped me become faithful and committed to the woman I'm married to now.
Wow.
So what I'm saying, fellas, is preparation meets opportunity. And so you don't get a wife and then become faithful. Ooh. Because at that point, it's too late. We're talking about preventative measures that prepare you for the woman you want. So yeah, if you want to pray and fast and meditate first before you think you can get in the bathtub or sleep in a bed nude with the woman with this discipline tactic, do so. But the point is, you got to be able to do it because marriage is for disciplined people. So when that woman cannot satisfy you and she's only at 50% or 70% or 30% some days, what is your discipline tactic you've already practiced to be able to sustain yourself in this marriage? I don't want a man who can't be in a bed with me naked because he's just, on my bones. I don't trust you. And because the man that I'm talking to has shown at least to be so disciplined with me sexually, with me being, a very good looking woman and a nice body when I'm nude, when we're not together and he's traveling, I'm not thinking, well, he can't sustain himself for 5 minutes with me. What's going on when he's out of town? Mm-hmm. It's a reassurance tool that is really effective, really effective.
You've been on the show on witness protection about your dating and who that is. No, really. And you are a very influential person in social media. I want you to say a word on when is the appropriate time to go public. Because you done talked about door number 2.
Lord have mercy.
7 times.
I know.
No name, no state, no identification.
No identification.
Yes.
Yeah,
and you could have very easily done that, but you intentionally are not doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people jump out too quick.
Soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They put in a Polaroid picture before they shake it off to make sure that the print has come out well. When is the right 100%. Time?
Well, in my case, because I'm such a big public figure, two different ways going to be the right time because we're not keeping each other publicly private. So either when the blogs get to it, which is not the right time, but that would be the time that they exploit it, or when we're engaged and I have a ring on my finger. That's when I will personally be open publicly with it. It's not because I think it's not going to work. It's more because I want it to work in a way that doesn't have an outside influence. I always say, as long as, the water doesn't get in the ship, the thing will sail.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people need to work on building their foundation first, right? Build your ship like Noah did. Build your ark first before you start loading that thing up with different animals and people, even if they come in pairs, right? But build your ark and so that it can weather the storm. And don't be so quick to wanting to show you have somebody, because to me, that's just a form of codependency, because you're doing it for what? To get the validation. Wow. I'm not a 42-year-old successful woman who is, without any kids seeking validation. And nor am I embarrassed about that. I am very, very proud that I waited. I'm very happy that I'm in a space where I'm, and with all due respect to the divorcees or anyone who is a single mom or a baby mom or baby daddy, I'm proud that I'm not a divorcee. I'm proud that my decisions have brought me to a place where I'm not a Black woman statistic. I'm actually the anomaly. And I want to be able to lead by example. I can pop my shit the way I do because I have not made the decisions that has bred me the results of the results I'm trying to change in our community. And that's what makes me powerful. It's not how do you talk about this because you haven't been married. I'm talking about it because I made great decisions. So I didn't become a divorcee. So I didn't become a baby mama. So I beat the statistics coming from a little girl from the hood who was a product of teenage parents, a mama who did the drug that my father sold. So adversity and trauma was what I was just bred in. It was innate. It was nature. It was nurture. It was in my environment. And because of that, I've seen things that I know don't breed results that most people want. I've yet to hear a person say, I waited all my life to be a baby mama. Your decisions created that result.
Yeah.
And if I can use my platform to be disliked or loved or hated or adored, as long as somebody gets something that can change their life, that's my purpose. I can care less either way.
Bishop Dale Bronner said, when you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions.
Well, let me tell y'all something. Based on that quote, if I was to die today, I'm looking damn good. I love my decisions. I want to say this, though. I'm not superior. I'm a product of teenage pregnancy. I was pregnant at 14 and 16. So I started off early, right? I had a boyfriend early, and we were obviously, sexually active early. I just happened to have what I always say is the most important piece to a woman's life, because a woman is what her daddy makes her. I had a father who said, not on my watch. You may hate me now, you'll thank me later. You're not having these babies. No. My mother and grandmother said yes. He said no. I went with the head, which is the leader. And that decision has bred me the results that I would have wanted to. How my life is right now, Pastor Bryant, is exactly how I would have wanted it if God would have sat with me and said, baby, let's plan this out together.
Beautiful.
This is exactly how I would have wanted it. Just like this. I wouldn't have wanted to be married any earlier because I would have been a divorcee.
Yeah.
I know I would have.
Yeah.
Not because the man would have messed up. I wasn't in a place where I would have been able to say, I forgive you for the small things. Forget the big. God forbid you cheat on me. I'm talking about the smaller things.
Right.
And I wouldn't have been able to say, I'm not leaving my husband. It was the opposite. If you do, then I'm out.
No, I get
so
it.
then don't even marry, because this man is bound to have a deficit. And if I can't work through the deficit, then what am I doing here? And I want our community to understand you don't have to have a baby. You don't have to have sex. You don't have to do these things to date. You can date without all of that.
Yeah.
You can go to the movies and take a trip and take baths and travel. Put a bathing suit on if you want to, like Pastor Bryant said. But whatever you do, you don't have to go and make these long-term permanent decisions because you want to be able to be in a relationship. That's not a requirement. It's like I'm not required to be married at 42. I'm required to be happy and to be in God's will. And I'm doing both of them damn well.
I love all of it. Y'all, listen, I'm going to take a shower with my wife. I'm getting out of here. I want to thank Dr. Bryant. You are absolutely a national treasure.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, your gift is second to none. We got to protect this lady with all costs. She is a Harriet Tubman. She is leading people to freedom, that they will not be bound to the slavery of other people's perception, but walk in the liberation of how it is that they were fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm so glad you came today.
I'm so happy I did. I knew when you came on my show, True Talks, I said, I said, me and Pastor Brian, we got to get together and have this conversation.
I'm bringing you back for a part 2.
We got to have, because
I got to have a part 2, because you said some stuff I got to come back and circle too.
Circle the block.
I got to circle that. I got to circle that block. Listen, y'all. Do not take no tubs this year.
No tubs. See? Wait, hold on.
It's coming back to get me.
He can't even say it.
Listen.
He don't want you to take no tubs.
Yeah,
okay?
don't take no tubs.
Don't take no tubs.
You're going to mess yourself up,
but
bro.
I do want y'all to practice discipline of the flesh.
Yes.
And the only way to practice something is to be immersed in it. Too many of us are practicing principles by knowledge of it. Knowledge is not power. The implementation of knowledge is. So if you got to take baby steps, do it. But I need more people, especially men, practicing discipline from the flesh and the optics before you opt yourself into a marriage that you cannot sustain.
Yeah.
I need that to be taking place.
And while you're being celibate, don't get in that bed naked for her to test you. You're going to fail that test. You're going to be in summer school.
Wait, okay, hold on, Pastor Brian. No, we got to wrap.
We're going to deal with it in show 2.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
No, I got a question.
Don't ask me nothing.
Hey,
this is the end of the show. We out of here.
He's taking this out before I take him out. Before I take him out, he's taking it out.
Oh, no.
Wait, what do you say about the men?
Yes.
And the man I'm talking to, I got to ask this,
who
is of age.
Yes.
He ain't a boy.
Yes.
He's a man by age and maturity, who are able to be in the bed with a woman who they are crazy attracted to.
Yes.
And they respect themselves first.
Yes.
And their relationship with God first. And that woman to where they don't make that move and they do have that discipline. What about those men who are doing it?
Great. Put on basketball shorts. See y'all later. You watching the Jamal Bryant Podcast. Let's be clear. Part 2 is coming. Y'all stay tuned. We got a whole nother conversation because I know y'all are coming. Y'all drop it all in the conversation. Make sure you like, you follow, you share, you subscribe. This is volume 1.
And stay out the bathtub.
And the bathtub and the naked bed. I'll see y'all later.